Welcome to hell, everybody. These next 4 weeks are going to be absolute hell because you got the Bills, Tampa Bay, at Miami, at Philadelphia. My prediction about them being 1-7 by the end of November is pretty much almost a foregone conclusion at this point, unless some miraculous miracle happens in the coming weeks where they actually win some of these games, they shock everybody, they go into Buffalo and somehow prove that they're not 14-point underdogs like they are right now. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good. This is why you win those games early on. This is why you don't lose to the Patriots. This is why you don't lose to the Browns. This is why you don't lose to the Jets. You need those games because of a stretch like this. And really, there's no reason to believe that this team will not be 1-7 by the end of November. TJ Watt is not coming back now until very well after the bye week because he not only is dealing with a torn pec injury that he's still trying to rehab, but he's had knee surgery done for the injury that he had during the preseason finale. So yeah, that's now going to be 10. That's not going to be 9 weeks now without TJ Watt, and really, there's no reason to believe that this team will not be 1-7 by this point. But the good news is that Kenny Pickett finally is going to be the starter for this team. We still haven't seen how he can handle himself doing a full game yet. We saw a lot of the potential and the spark that he gave the team last week against the Jets. And hopefully that continues into the next couple of weeks because there's got to be something there for people to get excited about. I'm excited to see him play because this is something that I wanted to see since the beginning of the season. You tried Mitch Trubisky, it didn't work. You got one win out of it, which wasn't even a good win. You had to win it at the very end of overtime to get the win. When you gave the game away, you had easy wins against the Patriots, the Browns, and the Jets, and you couldn't even beat them. And yeah, there is optimism about Kenny Pickett. There are a lot of concerns too because you're throwing him right into the middle of this hell stretch coming up. And what better way to start off than with the Buffalo Bills, which is probably the best team right now in the AFC. You've got one of the top quarterbacks in Josh Allen. You've got one of the best defenses in the league. You've got one of the best offenses overall. Stephon Diggs is still playing. You've got him there. He's he's probably the biggest weapon the Bills still have at this point. I know they went into Buffalo last year to beat in the opening game of the season to beat them there, but you don't think they're going to be helping on getting revenge on that one too? I mean, everything leading up to this game is almost automatically assuming the Bills are definitely going to win this one. I mean, there's no doubt about it that that's going to be the case, and really, there's no reason to believe that they won't do it. This is a chance for this team to really show that they really are the best team in the AFC. They are going to be the team to beat, and I have no reason to believe that that's not going to be the case. I want to be optimistic and say that there's a good chance the Steelers can go into Buffalo and beat them, but after the last couple of weeks, I'm not getting my hopes up. Even with Kenny Pickett in there, even with that spark he brings to this team once he gets on the field, this defense that the Steelers have is still all banged up. And even with the defensive players that the Bills will not have playing, and even some of the top names that won't be playing on the offense, like Dawson Knox isn't playing in this game, and Jordan Poyer for the defense isn't playing in this game. It's going to be tough to do on so many levels. You're going into a hostile environment with a rookie quarterback who hasn't played a full NFL game yet, and the signs are not leading to positivity right now. I mean, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm not going to predict him to win in this situation. I would like to see him get a win. I'd like them to shock everybody, but it's just not looking good right now. At least on paper, it doesn't look very good. So, as you can tell, my prediction is that the Buffalo Bills are going to go in there and beat the Steelers, and then really the only games that I could see the Steelers maybe eking out a win next week against Tampa Bay, because I mean, everything that Tom Brady's going through right now with his pending divorce from Giselle, and the fact that this team just keeps getting a ton of injuries, they aren't as productive as they've been the last couple of years. There's a chance that maybe the Steelers can pull off a win there, but I sincerely doubt it because Tom Brady is still there, and the NFL would rather see the Steelers not get any wins than have Tom Brady lose another game. I mean, that's just pretty much what the NFL is like right now. At Miami, it still all depends on whether or not Tua Tagovailoa is even going to be playing in that game. And I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is not a bad quarterback, but that's a game that he could probably go in there and probably beat the Steelers with. But the Steelers could also do the same thing with Pickett, but I don't know. We're still going to have to wait and see what happens. And Philadelphia is the only real game after the Buffalo Bills game that I'm pretty sure that they will not win because, let's face it, if you haven't won in Philadelphia in 60 years, what makes you think that's going to change now? I mean, that's just my personal take on it. But as you can tell, I'm going with the Bills tomorrow for the win. And, I mean, there's no reason to believe that that's probably not going to happen. So let's go ahead and take a look at my predictions for the other games in the NFL this week. So as you can see by last week's predictions, I actually did really well. I only got 3 games wrong out of that entire list that I had there. So I'm getting better. Hopefully that continues on with the rest of the season. I already got the first game, Colts. They won over the Denver Broncos. The Broncos right now but that game was a mess on so many levels. That's one of the worst Thursday. That's not even one of the worst Thursday night football games of all time. Not just that, but it's one of the worst NFL games of all time. I can't believe that the Broncos spent $256 million to get Russell Wilson here, and this is the result that they've had after 5 weeks. And it's just a disaster. As you can see, I have the Packers beating the Giants tomorrow in London. I have the Bills over the Steelers, as I mentioned. I've got the Chargers over the Browns. I've got the Vikings over the Bears. The Bears are not a very good football team right now. Their offense is not very good. Defense is pretty decent. I'm going with the Lions over the Patriots. I just think that the Lions, they've been waiting to win a game like this. You're not going to have Mac Jones there. You're not going to have Brian Hoyer at quarterback. So I think the Lions go into Foxborough and pull off maybe one of the big upsets of the day with that win. I've got the Saints over the Seahawks. I've got the Dolphins over the Jets. This is the test to see if Teddy Bridgewater can carry the load while Tua Tagovailoa is still in the injury phase, dealing with the concussion. What am I even saying right now? I've got the Buccaneers over the Falcons because I think the Falcons are not as good as people give them credit for. Plus, I think they're going to be without Kyle Pitts in that game, so I think that one's going to be an easy win for Tampa Bay. Tennessee over the Commanders. Oh, God, that's going to be another Thursday night mess right there. The Bears and the Commanders on Thursday night. That's going to be a fun one. Jacksonville, I have them winning over the Texans. Texans are another team that I don't think are all that good. 49ers over the Panthers. The 49ers are just playing pretty good football right now. Panthers are not. Rams over the Cowboys. I think the Rams finally get off that skid that they've been on. They finally knocked down Cooper Rush. I think the Eagles go into Arizona, and Eagles will not be undefeated after tomorrow. I think the Cardinals are moving in the right direction now. I think they're going to keep moving in that good direction. I think they're going to win that game. I've got the Ravens beating the Bengals. I think they make amends for the 17-point blow up after the what am I saying right now? The 17-point was having the Bills come back after 17 points, after being down 17 points. I mean, I think they're the better team over the Bengals, and I have the Chiefs over the Raiders because it's the Chiefs. I mean, Kansas City's pretty good right now. The Raiders are just not. So those are my predictions. Now let's take a look at the local predictions.
Welcome back. It's time to beat the boss. Jenna making her move last week. Well, a move is being made. Let's just put it that way. There's a lot of football left. Last week, Jerome was 3-4. Not terrible, but Jenna and I were 5-2. Each of us gained 2 games in the standings. I need to gain a whole lot more. Jenna takes the lead with the overall record of 15-11. Jerome a game back at 14-12, and I'm only 3 games back from Jenna at 12-14. But Before we get to our picks this week, let's hear from Bet Rivers ambassador and former NFL wide receiver Brandon Stokely with his outlook for the best bets.
Brandon Stokely from my friends at Bet Rivers. I'm going to be picking some games here. Got a few this weekend that I like, and I'm going to start with the Baltimore Ravens. They're right around -3 at home. Tough loss last week to the Bills. What do the Ravens do? They bounce back, and I think they bounce back in a big way and cover that -3. Also like the Packers at home. Right around -8. Going up against the Giants. I don't know who the Giants quarterback is. Daniel Jones has a hurt ankle. Tyrod Taylor got injured last week. I mean, it might be Saquon Barkley and the Wildcat, and I think that's probably the only way they cover that 8 points. I like the Packers at home, and I'm going to go with Cooper Rush here, and the Cowboys getting around 5.5, traveling to the Rams. I haven't liked what I saw from the Rams this year, but I've loved what I've seen from Cooper Rush and what he's been able to do since taking over from Dak Prescott. Those are my 3 games. Good luck to you. Bet Rivers, thank you.
All right, thank you, Brandon. I need a lot of luck. Jerome, it's time to get into it. Of course, with the starting off and Steelers at the Bills. Buffalo favored by a couple touchdowns. This is a historic spread for the Steelers.
It is, and because of this historic spread, I think Kenny Pickett is going to do just enough to cover this spread. I think the Steelers will find a way to win the spread game. Maybe they won't win the actual game, but I think they're going to keep it close enough.
All right, all 3 of us picked the Steelers, by the way. Bengals at...
Find new roads.
All right, as we look at this game, not too many people expect the Steelers to win. Rich, do you expect the Steelers to pull an upset today? Well, apparently, okay. Go ahead, Rich.
All right, I don't have a good feeling about this one. I think the Steelers lose this game big, 41-17. And, not having T.J. Watt, Terrell Edmonds, and a guy like Akella Witherspoon are going to make a big deal for Josh Allen and his offense. I think the Steelers lose this game 41-17. And when my hair moves, it's windy. It's going to affect Kenny Pickett's first start. And Chris Boswell in the kicking game. Back to you guys.
Both ways, though. It affects both teams. Charlie?
Yeah, a lot of missing pieces on the Steelers team here today. I do think that the Steelers get behind early, and it puts a lot of pressure on Kenny Pickett. The Bills will win this game 38-10 today.
And I think Jerry and I both concur. I think it's going to be closer, so I'll take the points in that one. Coming up.
God, just when you think it can't get any worse, it got worse. How you folks doing out there today? I know I'm not feeling good right now. I know a lot of people who are Steelers fans are not happy right now. And you probably know why. Just when you think it can't get any worse than what it did, than what it was going to be, it got worse. It got worse from the first drive of the game. Backed up into their own territory. Josh Allen throws a bomb to Gabe Davis, 98-yard touchdown, 7-0. First drive of the game. First drive of the game. And it was already over. It just... Every time I think I know it's going to get bad, I'm not prepared for how bad it gets. Because, man... I'm at a loss of words right now at how bad this team is right now. And quite honestly, it's not going to get any better once TJ Watt comes back. Even if he does come back, what's to stop other teams from going, oh, we just got to get rid of TJ Watt and we're good to go? Because that's what's going to happen. That is what's going to happen when TJ Watt gets back on there. You're going to have these people trying to find ways to get him injured so he's out of the game. And this track record that they have now, 0-8 now, without T.J. Watt. 0-8. Just, it's inexcusable. I'm frustrated. I was really mad. No joke. I went to Walmart halfway through the game because it's like, I'm not going to watch the rest of this because I know how this is going to turn out. When I got to the Steelers section where the shirts are at Walmart, I literally punched the logo on one of the shirts. I was that mad. It's frustrating to watch. And yeah, there are signs of positivity there. There are signs that, yes, this is the direction that they should be going with Kenny Pickett there. Kenny Pickett was the least of their problems today. Like, the offense just... Kenny Pickett wasn't the problem. George Pickens wasn't the problem. Deontay Johnson just cratered today. Like, he just couldn't keep anything together. Like, he couldn't keep critical drives going, and it's just frustrating. Like, Kenny Pickett was the least of their problems. He wasn't great, but he's still starting. Like, that leads into the next problem. The coaches. Like, actually, no, that's the last thing we'll deal with, but maybe this is why you don't start Kenny Pickett against the freaking Buffalo Bills, the best team right now in the NFL, because that's what you get. That's what you get when you put a rookie in there in his first start, and that's what you get from him. I mean, it's asinine how bad this team played today. The defense was just completely horrendous. Like, I cannot believe that this team looks so bad without TJ Watt there, with the lineup that they had there. Everybody was still banged up, which probably should have been an indication of what was going to happen, but the Bills took full advantage on every single thing they did. Because not only did Gabe Davis get one long touchdown, he got two. And you know what? We should have known the Steelers weren't going to win this game, because there was already one big upset today, and that was early in the morning when the Giants beat the Packers. Usually you get one big upset for the day, maybe two or three, depending on the situation. But as soon as the Giants beat the Packers in London today, that should have been the sign that the Steelers weren't winning this game. They weren't pulling off the upset. Like, WPXI, I mean, come on. You have the Bills minus 14, and all three of you picked the Steelers to win that game. Like, what were you thinking? Like, what were you seriously thinking? And let's get to the biggest problem why the Steelers lost today, and that is, of course, the coaches. I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about Terrell Austin. I'm talking about Brian Flores. I'm talking about Danny Smith. Special teams were, again, horrible, and Gunnar Olszewski wasn't even playing today. And the backup, Steven Sims, he left the game early because of an eye injury. Like that was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to please Gunnar Olszewski, and they had nobody else to punt them, to catch kicks for them that were supposed to be kick returners. That's just how bad this game was. But of course, Matt Canada, once again, completely coming up with the most conservative offensive play calling ever. And at this point, you need to get rid of Matt Canada. Like, how much longer are you going to keep him around here? How much longer are you going to keep pretending like this is not a big deal that Matt Canada just plays so conservatively with his offense while everybody else is running all over you? And then Mike freaking Tomlin. You know what? I've defended this guy for so many years. I've tried not to use those same criticisms that everybody else has said that, oh, Mike Tomlin won a Super Bowl with Bill Cowher's team, because that's a stupid argument to make, because you know what? Bill Belichick won a Super Bowl with the team that Pete Carroll left him. Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl with the team that Jared Goff left behind him. Do you realize how stupid that is of a conversation to have? Despite all of those complaints, I never really had anything truly bad to say to Mike Tomlin until as of recent, like the last couple of years. And now, this game in particular, this was finally my breaking point. Mike Tomlin's not a good coach anymore. He's just not. Because guess what? Ben Roethlisberger ain't walking through that door anymore. He's not coming back to play quarterback. Kevin Colbert's not coming back through that door again. This entire season is all on you. You're the one that said, let's keep Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator, because clearly I can't hire a good offensive coordinator, because that would be too stupid of me, because that'd be too smart of me to do that. And look at what has happened over the last 5 games. Just ineptitude, stupid decisions all around. You're down by a significant number of points. You're down You're down by a significant margin of points, and you decide to kick a field goal not once, but twice. Like, the first time, I think they were up, 24 to 3 at that point. Like, maybe I can understand your decision making because it would be because at that point it'd be about 18 point an 18 point break there, but just the situation that you were in, like you were in the red zone, and your decision and you're already down to a number of touchdowns, and your decision is, let's go for the field goal. Why not? Because guess what happened after they missed that first field goal? Scored a touchdown. The Bills scored a touchdown after that, and that was the Gabe Davis 60-yard touchdown that made it 31-3 at that point. And then the third quarter, which is still, I'm baffled by this. That's the third quarter one where he decides to kick a field goal at the end of the third quarter and he misses it. You're down 31-3. 31-6 is not a good look for a team that's trying to come back from that situation. And the end result was the worst loss the Steelers have had in over 30 years. Guess what? Now they're the worst team in the NFL right now because the Texans won today. They're a terrible football team, but the Texans still won. And guess what? Despite the fact that they have a 1-3-1 record, because the Steelers are now 1-4, they are now officially the worst team in the NFL right now. And that means they have a chance to get the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, which it's amazing to think about that when you really think about what this team has done all these years, and now all of a sudden they're on the cusp of getting a number 1 overall pick in the draft, which could be a quarterback. They could do the same thing that they did to Josh Rosen for the Cardinals a few years ago, and just say, "Hey, Kenny Pickett, fuck you. We're getting a top quarterback in this next with the first overall pick, and you're going off somewhere else to be placed in the NFL, to be placed in the graveyards of the NFL." Like, I just don't get it. I don't get the mentality of this team right now. They are just so horrible right now. And really, it's getting harder and harder for me to do these shows every week because I know what the outcome is going to be now, because there's no indication whatsoever that there's going to be changes. Yeah, Mike Tomlin talked about he's going to make changes. He's thinking about benching players, but he's not going to do anything significant like fire Matt Canada or get rid of guys that weren't playing well. Well, you know what he's going to do? Hope for the best and hope that another miraculous run happens just like he's had in the last couple of years, because heaven forbid we can't make up for our mistakes like that. Like, after 5 weeks of this, when you should really be 0-5, but you got lucky because Minka Fitzpatrick blocked a field goal, blocked an extra point at the end of the game against Cincinnati. This team should be 0-5 right now, but because they're 1-4, there's still optimism. There's still a chance. Hey, the Browns lost today, which, if you're using that as an excuse now, the Steelers have become the new Cleveland Browns at this point. That's how bad this team has gotten so far. And quite frankly, it's hard for me to get excited for this team anymore. Because really, I could be optimistic and say that, well, Tampa Bay is dealing with all these is not very good right now. Tom Brady is dealing with this divorce. And what makes me think that there's any logical situation where Kenny Pickett goes into the Acrisure Stadium next week with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, and he beats the Buccaneers? What situation makes me think that in any way, shape, or form? It's just, this is venting right now. This is venting watching a team that I've loved to watch over the last 10 plus years completely shit the bed. They're humiliating themselves. They're not putting any effort into these critical games they need to win. And quite honestly, it's my belief that they're still purposely taking right now. Just got taken to a whole nother level. Forget being 1-7 by the end of November. This team may never win another game with the way they play these games out. Like, this is bad football. This is the type of football that's going to be talked about for years and years to come down the road, where we have what we're talking about, the worst seasons in NFL history. This could be the worst season in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the worst history since the 60s, before Chuck Noll came there. That's how bad this team is playing right now, and quite frankly, I would love to just stop doing this right now, but I made a commitment. Unlike the Steelers right now, who are not even trying to fix the problems right away, I have to keep going. I have to keep trudging through this. I may lose my sanity by the end of this season. That is how frustrated I am right now with how this team has been playing so far. I mean, yeah, there are positives to take from this. Kenny Pickett, I mean, he's playing what he played as well as he could, considering the circumstances. But this is a game that you don't start him in. You start him in a game against the Patriots, or hell, start him on Thursday night against the Browns because it's a short week. They wouldn't be expecting it, but no. You kept sticking with Mitch Trubisky for a long time, and because there was no offense getting going on that with Trubisky, and now there's not a whole lot of offense going with Pickett. Pickett has to do the best he can under the circumstances. You've completely screwed up your entire plan. You've screwed up your entire season by making this one huge mistake. Instead of trusting the rookie, getting him a chance to go out there and show that he is worthy of being the first quarterback selected, you stick him into a game like this where he gets knocked down. He doesn't do what you're expecting him to do, and this is the end result we get. This is the end result we get from this. This has been a 14-minute rant on this team. Like that's how frustrated I am right now, and like I said, it's not going to get any better anytime soon. Tampa Bay's coming to town next week, so yeah, that's all I got for you. So I guess see you next week. That's all I got for you.